What's up, guys? Welcome to another speed build. Happy Friday to all of you and happy fall. I know fall is not technically until what, like September 22nd or somewhere around there, but in my mind, and I know in a lot of y'all's mind, it is officially fall. So yes, happy fall to all of you. Today I have a very fun build for all of you. I have been really wanting to build a fall inspired home, and so I finally said, you know what, it is fall, it's close enough. So I'm gonna go ahead and build all the fall homes that my heart desires, and this is not the only one. So if you are like me and you are a lover of fall, autumn, whatever it is you call it, definitely subscribe if you have not already and stick around. I will have plenty more builds where that came from, especially considering in only a month we have a brand new expansion pack. I'm sure you guys have heard it by now. There has been speculation for a good couple of weeks at least, but it is obviously confirmed, and we officially had the reveal trailer yesterday on the 4th, and I watched it, and yeah, it is definitely perfect for fall inspired builds. It looks so pretty. I know there's a lot of simmers that believe it should be part of an outdoor retreat refresh, and at first, before I seen the reveal trailer, I thought the same thing, but to be honest, they are bringing a lot of new features in this pack, and I am so excited for it. Like, the gameplay and building looks awesome. I mean, I have spent so much time on these videos complaining about not having slides for the pools or slides for the backyard, and lo and behold, we are getting them in this new pack. And we are also getting imaginary friends, we're getting archery, we're getting a whole bunch of different things that just seems so much fun. I really am looking forward to it. I mean, I shouldn't get my hopes up quite yet. I know this was only the reveal trailer. We need to see the gameplay trailer too. And I'm sure it's going to be coming with bugs like a lot of other packs are. But you know what? I cannot help but be excited for this pack. This is like literally right up my alley. And I think this is going to be the first pack in a while that is actually going to keep me playing the actual game. I usually only build, and I might test out a new expansion pack like Enchanted by Nature, but I don't know, it just didn't hook me, you know? Enchanted by Nature just wasn't it for me. But this new pack, guys, I'm telling you, it looks like so much fun. I am so excited, especially for the whole like creating your own jungle gym system. That looks amazing. That really honestly surprised me. I wasn't really expecting it, but now it makes complete sense with the whole theme of the pack. I am so happy that they added it, and so looking forward to it too. And you know what, I could go on, but for the sake of this video, that's not what this video is about, so I will spare you guys. I'm sure I will mention things here and there in future videos, especially in my next video. I'm not going to really tell you what it is, obviously, but I'm sure you can imagine it kind of falls in the category that matches the brand new expansion pack. So yeah, I'm sure I gave it away at that point, but I will leave it to y'all's imagination. Just come back on Monday and you'll be able to see what it is. But as far as this build goes, we are getting the outside kind of together, and it's like a basic suburban house, but I am honestly using only seasons in this build. I probably should have said that from the get-go, but this is only base game and seasons, and I did that purposely. I really wanted to do a limited pack build that everybody that has seasons can download and play with, and honestly, most of us simmers probably have seasons. Seasons is like one of the only expansion packs that really adds to the game no matter what gameplay you're playing with. Like, seasons is a must-have. If you don't have it, definitely get it, especially when it's on sale, but it's definitely worth the full price in my personal opinion. And since this is a fall inspired home, I figured it was the perfect opportunity to do a limited pack build with only seasons. This is the first time I've built with only seasons on my channel. And so yeah, it was pretty new, and it made it really easy to find all of the fall items since I only had those that one pack installed. It definitely made it so much easier to find all of the fall inspired items from seasons. As far as the whole vibe of the build, you guys probably can tell, or at least assume, that it is fall inspired from the outside to the inside, even including the decorations in the backyard. We have a shed in the backyard. We have a tree house in the backyard that I built custom, and I really kept the whole fall vibe going on. I actually built this before the reveal trailer for the new pack came out, and the tree house in the backyard, it kind of looks like a fall cabin, and so it's kind of perfect for the new pack. And the whole fall vibes that are in the air at this time, and I really like the way that this house came out. So one thing that was important for me as I was building this was, yes, to make it like fall themed, to have fall decorations out and about in the house, but I did not want it to look too tacky. Sometimes, you know, in the past, before I started my YouTube channel, I would build like fall inspired houses using like the decorations from seasons, but it would be like a little bit too much. You know, like there's a specific like chandelier looking decoration. It looks like it's made from like paper, crochet or whatever that's called, and you hang it from the ceiling. It's fall. You can change it from fall to Christmas or holiday to spring to whatever you are celebrating, and you know, it's cute, but it can make a build look a little bit too busy, too tacky, and that is not what I was going for at all. I really wanted this to turn out super cute and not overly done. So I don't use any of those items that like hang from the ceiling. I did place those like child-made decorations that are like turkeys on paper, and you hang it on the wall. It has like googly eyes. It's super cute, but not too much. I placed those like subtly throughout the build, and few and far between to make it not too much, you know? And then other than that, I'll place like, of course, those little like leaf garlands all around on the tables and stuff. Those are a must do as far as fall decorations are concerned. Those are so cute and really brings the fall vibes. And pretty much those are the main decorations I use. And I use a lot of fall colored items in the house in general. So that is really what I am sticking with as far as the fall theme goes. And obviously I'm building the house in fall. I changed it from summer to fall. That was like a must do. I mean, is it really a fall build if you're not building while it is fall in the game? No, not really. And I love the leaves on the trees. It is so pretty. It brings me back to when I lived in Nashville. I know I said this in like last video, I think, but it really does. It was so beautiful in Tennessee. I loved it up there during this time of year. Obviously, after the leaves die, they fall off and it's not so pretty after that, but while they are changing colors, it is absolutely like breathtaking, especially being a girl from Florida. You know, we're not used to this. I grew up in Florida. I never left Florida until I moved to Tennessee. So it really was a major change and I absolutely fell in love with it. The pictures do not do it justice. You know, I hear that about people that never visit the beach, right? That once they finally do as an adult, the pictures just do not do it justice. It's absolutely breathtaking in person. And yes, it is, but from someone that grew up going to the beach, you know, we don't appreciate it as much as some other people might. And that goes, it's kind of the same vice versa, you know. Someone from Florida who grew up going to the beach, it's kind of like, whatever, it's the beach. But then they go to somewhere like Tennessee or anywhere up north that actually has a fall, and they see the change of leaves on the trees, and it's absolutely breathtaking, and the pictures just don't do it justice. So it's funny how that is, how like whatever someone is used to, they're just like, whatever. But whatever they see that's brand new, it's like so awesome and extreme. It's just kind of funny how that happens, you know? So I might not get a fall in real life, but I can live out my fall dreams in The Sims. So I mean, at least there's that. At least I can appreciate the beauty here in The Sims, because it's still so beautiful here in The Sims. I love the fall in The Sims too. It's so pretty. So I am currently just finishing up some last minute details in the front. You will see me go from the outside to the inside, back to the outside kind of frequently throughout this build. I was really just trying to get like the things I knew I wanted in their location so I could get that much closer to seeing the end product, if that makes sense. And I really wanted to place like just normal pumpkins that were not jack-o'-lanterns, and I came across these in like the 3-pack with leaves around it. Those are cute, but I could have sworn that in debug you can get the pumpkins that you can carve with the pumpkin carving table. Now that I'm thinking about it, was the pumpkin carving table not part of Seasons? Was that from Spooky Day? I thought it was from Seasons. I don't know. Maybe that's why I couldn't find it then. I went on like a wild goose chase trying to find those dang pumpkins, and I could not find it, so I gave up on it. I wanted to place one on the counter and place them on like the stairs on the front, but like I said, I couldn't find the uncarved pumpkins. Maybe I just wasn't looking in the right place, but whatever. At the end of the day, I was able to at least find the ones in the group of 3, and those are cute. I don't love the swatches, but that's a different story. At least I made it work. I found a swatch that really matched the build pretty good, and so I ended up going with that. Better than nothing, am I right? And I also placed those in the back too. You'll see that towards the end of the build when I finish up the backyard. There's a lot going on in the backyard, to be totally honest. I have, like I said, I kind of named a few different things. And then other than like the shed, obviously, and the treehouse that I was talking about, I also included a swing set and some monkey bars for the kid that lives in this house. I am now furnishing the kitchen / like breakfast nook. So we have a breakfast nook with a smaller table. I was going to put 4 chairs, but obviously it's a tight fit, so I had to instead put just 2 there. And then we have the main dining table right here in the dining room. And yeah, the dining room is kind of on the small side, but I did what I could with this floor plan. This floor plan was kind of hard. The house ended up being a little bit smaller than I thought it was, so the rooms are then a little bit smaller than I had originally imagined, but I got it to work at the end of the day, so that's good. While I am working on the kitchen area and the dining room, probably leading into the living room, I will give you guys a little bit of a backstory of the family that lives in this house. So this is a family of 5 that consists of 2 parents, a child, a toddler, and an infant. And this is a very, very family-oriented family. The mom is a homemaker and the dad is a freelance writer. And he actually does a lot of his work, well, all of his work, in their bedroom. There is a computer there. That's kind of the only place I could find to put the computer desk, and so that is where he does his work. So the parents were actually childhood best friends, and they grew up together, and they ended up falling in love when they were teenagers, and they got married pretty much right out of high school. Like, they knew they both wanted kids, they both wanted to start a family, and it was almost like, you know, why not? It was too perfect not to go ahead and start their family. Why wait? If they were able to afford it and they both wanted it, then what was the point of waiting? So they got married and they had their first child not long after getting married, and then it took a few more years to have their second child. They had a little bit of a difficult time conceiving the second child. She had to go to the fertility clinic to get checked out, and they actually had to readjust some things in order to achieve her next pregnancy. And it ended up working. It worked a little bit too well because not long after that, they ended up conceiving their third child, which was obviously a blessing to them. They wanted a big family anyways. They didn't know it was going to be so quick. But now they get to have their children pretty much in the same age range, and they can grow up together. They can have those sibling fights that all siblings have if they're too close in age, and it just sounded perfect to these parents. They were so happy about it. So the mom actually used to have a job herself. She used to be a style influencer. She really loves fashion, and obviously she really loves homemaking as well. Her house is absolutely beautiful, and she was happy with her job, but she was even more happy being a mom to her children. And so after talking with her husband, they both decided that it was better for their children's future if she stayed home and was a stay-at-home mom / a homemaker. And she was more than happy to do that, no problem at all. And it was no push to her husband either. Like, he never pushed her to do that. He really just wants her to be happy, whether that's working and having a babysitter come, or if it's her quitting her job and focusing on her kids. And she was more than happy to do that. Also, the dad was making plenty of money at his freelance writing job. Like, he's making such good money that they didn't need the second income anyways. So they figured it was the perfect opportunity to go ahead and have the mom stay home and be able to really focus on the kids. And she has like snacks ready for them when they come home, and the house is spotless 24/7. There's never a thing out of place. And this is really what she was made to do, to be honest, was to be a mother and a homemaker. She really loves focusing on the different seasons too, whatever season it may be. Right now it's fall, next it will be the holidays, and she'll decorate for the holidays, then it will be New Year's, then it will be spring, then summer. There's always a holiday going on, and she is more than happy to decorate the whole house to match the holiday. And like I said, right now it is fall, and she just got finished putting out all of her fall decorations, and it's really perfect for how she wants it. And fall is actually her favorite holiday, and she really loves baking like pumpkin spice muffins, pumpkin spice cupcakes, whatever it is, pumpkin pies, pecan pies, apple pies. She just loves baking fall items. And like I said earlier, she always has something made for the kids when they get home from school. And right now, since it is fall, it's almost always something pumpkin spice, and the kids absolutely love it. They love the cinnamon, they love the fall flavors. It's just, this house is just so happy during the fall season. And I really tried to portray that here in the house that I'm building. I really wanted to make it look like a big happy family lives here, and I think I did a pretty good job of it. It definitely looks happy to me. I would love to live in a house like this, and I would love to have this many fall decorations. I have literally none in real life. And there's no point in buying it right now. I'm about to move. Literally next weekend is when I'm moving, and so I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna wait till we get to our new house, and then I am going to start purchasing some fall decorations and making my house feel as lively as this Sims house does. Honestly, I know it's only September 5th, but something is telling me that I am too late in the fall decoration buying game, and all the good cheaper things are going to be picked through, and I'm going to have to spend all this money to get like mediocre things. So we'll see how it goes. I will probably keep you guys updated, I'm sure. Let me know down below if you guys are like this sim too. Do you like to decorate with the seasons? Are you like an extreme decorator, and no matter what season it is, you have all these decorations out? I am really curious if you guys are the same way, or are you like some other people that, decorating's not your thing and you don't want to put things out just to pick it up in a month. I totally get that too. I can see both sides, and I differ from one year to the next, if I'm being totally honest. Sometimes, there was this one time I put out my Christmas tree and I never even decorated it. So yeah, I mean, there's that. But with me going to a new house, I am so looking forward to this holiday season. But yeah, let me know down in the comments if you guys are a decorator or not. I'm pretty curious about that. I love to hear y'all's experiences, what you guys like to do. I really like to hear from you guys. So I am now working on the entryway of the house, and this is a pretty unique entryway compared to what I normally do. I don't normally make it such a long, skinny room, but that's kind of how the floor plan made it. That is the only thing I really could figure out how to design it, and it actually turned out really, really cute how I did it. I put the coat rack from Seasons, which I don't normally use. I don't love it. There's something about it I don't like, but this was the perfect opportunity to go ahead and use it. I'll probably never use it again, but at least I was able to use it here. And then I also put like a bench with a table, like a hall table. I originally had that hall table in the dining room, but then I came across the china cabinet from Seasons that has like plates and bowls and maybe some glasses. That was perfect to put in the little breakfast nook area. So I did a little bit of a switcheroo and I put the fall themed table in the hallway and then the china cabinet in the dining room. And I think that actually made it look so much better. The dining room didn't look so busy, and it gave the entryway a little bit of a pop of color that it desperately needed. It was a little bit boring. Once I added that table, it really tied it all together. It was perfect. And then obviously with the bench that I put in front of it and the little like rug that's there, that rug from Seasons, I literally love that rug. It's perfect for hallways because it's long and skinny, and that particular swatch is my favorite by far. It is so pretty. I love the colors, and it definitely matched this house perfectly. But we are now in the living room putting some last minute touches, and of course I had to add a little like playpen. That is like my go-to for living rooms. It fits perfectly there. If there's an infant in their house, it definitely is useful so you don't have to trek up and down the stairs every time your infant needs a nap, because it's literally like every 2 hours, I feel like. So I just love having the extra one in the living room. Plus, it's pretty realistic. Like, I know a lot of people who have infant-aged children or even toddlers, and it's a great thing to have, whether they're taking a nap or you need to just pin them up for a little bit while you clean the house or whatever you need to do. It's perfect. So I love to have that little touch of realism in my builds. And I also put those super cute child drawings above it. I was imagining that now that it is fall, all of those fun fall activities are probably happening in schools. I don't know if they're really a thing anymore, to be honest. I don't have any kids, but when I was growing up, every time it was like fall or Christmas or whatever, you made little like arts and crafts for your family members or friends or whoever you made it for. So I was thinking that the child in school made these for their parents, and mom, she loved them so much. What mom doesn't love their own child's drawings, even if they're horrendous? Something only a mother could love. And so she loved them so much, she decided to hang them up in the living room. Especially since it's fall, it matched her decorations perfectly, and so she used that opportunity to go ahead and hang them up. And so she hung them up above the crib. Really, that's the best place I could put them. I didn't know what else to put there, and I thought it was super cute, and so I ended up leaving them there. And also, I ended up putting some more pumpkins on that coffee table, which was an interesting choice. I kind of did that by accident because I was literally trying to look for more pumpkins other than those, and I kind of just accidentally plopped them on the dining or the coffee table. And that coffee table from Seasons is so big anyways, it's literally humongous. and I was contemplating what to put there anyways, and I accidentally placed the pumpkins there. They fit perfectly, they looked cute, they tied all of the decorations together, and I was like, that's kind of perfect. You know? Is this what people normally do? I don't know. Usually in real life, I probably would just put some garland leaves or a table runner with a cute centerpiece and call it a day, but those pumpkins kind of was too perfect not to put there, so I ended up leaving them there. Hopefully you guys like them too. So I'm currently putting together the treehouse that I knew I wanted to have as a feature of this build, and the shed. I'm kind of just trying to arrange the backyard, like I said earlier, so I can see the finished product in my head, or else it's like too much of a blank slate and I get confused, I forget what I want to do, it gets overwhelming, and I'm like, I'm deleting this whole thing. And so I really wanted to avoid that. I really like what I have going so far, and so I wanted to take a brief moment and go ahead and put together all of the stuff I knew I wanted to have in the backyard. And there's a lot going on in the back. It's probably, you know, a little bit too much, but I love too much. I love that. I don't like to leave blank backyards or too much of a front yard in The Sims. It just looks a little bit too boring and bleh. And I really like to have a lot of stuff going on because it makes it look really good and filled up and pretty. And so I really like the way that this backyard turns out. It's pretty interesting compared to what I normally do. And I love the way that these bushes look during fall in The Sims. It's a little bit of a darker, deeper green than usual. They're a little bit brighter when it's like summer. And I just love the way that they look in the fall. They look just like they have a deeper color. I really don't know what else to call it, but it looks super good. And that swing set is perfect from Seasons. Look at those colors, guys. Is that not exactly fall? With the yellow and the orange and the burnt red. It's perfect. It was too perfect not to use. And of course I really wanted to include a monkey bar set too. And as I was building this, I was literally thinking, oh, how I wish there was a slide. And little did I know, in just a few short days, or maybe a week, whenever I built this, I think I built it over the weekend, in just a few short days would there be a reveal trailer of a new pack that is literally going to include the slide that I wish I had in this build. And I cannot be more excited, guys. I'm so ready for it. Plus the diving boards too. That's a whole nother thing that I didn't mention. I know we're not having a pool. This isn't summer. This is not a summer inspired build. This is literally a fall inspired build, but I do have to take a brief second to also say that there are now going to be diving boards in The Sims 4. That is something I missed from The Sims 2. Yeah, I think there probably was a diving board in The Sims 3. I wasn't a big Sims 3 person. Never have been, probably never will be, to be totally honest. I really don't like the art style in The Sims 3. There's something about it. The Sims 2 will always be like number one for me. But I do love The Sims 4 as like a close second. The Sims 2 is just super nostalgic for me. I grew up playing it. But having slides for the pool, having the diving board for the pool were two things I severely missed here in The Sims 4. And now we're getting both of those things. So I could not be more excited, guys. Really, truly. Obviously, I'm probably making it obvious to you guys how excited I am, but I am so excited. I hope you guys are too. I know a lot of people, you know, they're not letting themselves be too excited, which I totally understand considering the history of The Sims 4, but I just can't help myself. It reminds me of The Sims 2, and so yeah, I cannot help but love it and be excited about it. But anyways, we are back inside. Like I said, guys, we're jumping in and out in this build. It is what it is, but we are upstairs and finishing up the furnishings, and we are going to finish this up before we go back outside. So we will not go back out till we're done inside. We actually already furnished the master bedroom, which is downstairs, and it's, you know, it's nothing really special. It's pretty much how I always do a master bedroom, but I did include Dad's computer desk in there, and that's where he does all of his work and stuff. And then of course we have the bed. I never really used that one from Season, so it was a fun change to use it in this build. Same with the dresser and the nightstands. Everything that I use is pretty much from Seasons, if not base game, but pretty much Seasons. I'm really trying to take advantage of the Seasons items. And so that bedroom, it turned out super cute. I really like the curtains that come from Seasons. They're one of my favorites. I don't normally use them just because I just get stuck using the same things over and over again, like the base game curtains that are two different sections that you place differently, and they have like the silver rods, and I usually use the white swatch, but they have a bunch of different swatches. If you're a returning viewer of mine, you probably know what I'm talking about. I use them in literally like every single build, but I do really like these Seasons curtains. They don't have a lot of swatches, which is the only downside to it. My all-time favorite swatch is the one that I used in, I believe I used it in the living room, the master bedroom, and upstairs in the infant's room, if I'm not mistaken. And they have like the gold leafy vines going up the sides, and it's super pretty. It matches perfectly with the gold rod at the top. I really like it. I just, you know, it's not something I want to use all the time and overuse it. Oh, those are the base game curtains I was talking about, those orange ones right there. The white, they are my go-to, but this is fall inspired, and those orange curtains matched that bed perfectly from Seasons that I'm using in the child's room, and so I thought it was perfect to go ahead and use it in this room. When would I ever use that orange swatch again? That's really way too orange for my liking, but this whole room is, and so it was perfect just to go all out with the orange. Actually, this bed from Seasons is one of my favorite like single beds in the game. I really love the canopy like cloths on each side of the bed. I think it's so pretty. I don't normally use this swatch, but it was literally fall colors, so it was too good not to use, and pairs perfectly with the bright orange curtains and the orange mental table. I pulled out one of those like fall decorations that you just like hang up on the wall. It looks like something that the kid would have made in school. And same with those drawings. I did place a second pair of drawings up in the kids' room where the computer desk is. I thought it was, you know, why not? Maybe they made the double pictures and they gave some to their parents and they wanted some for their rooms too. There's nothing against that. And I came across this like pumpkin decal. All of those items are what I was trying to explain earlier about it being a little bit too much and a little bit too busy. I didn't want to add them all throughout the house, but this is a kid's room. What kid's room is not overly done, overly busy? And so I figured, why not pick out my favorite ones and put it in the kids' room? So at least they're somewhere in the build, just not all over the place, you know? That would be a little bit too much for me. So something to note about the kids' room is the fact that they have like a separate walk-in closet. That is what I was imagining that is, but there's not any good like clothing racks in the base game or in Seasons that I liked, other than the coat rack that I use downstairs, and then the base game like wall hung shelves with the like clothing rack under it and has some shirts. It looks like business shirts, definitely not children attire, and I kind of can't stand the way it looks, and so I didn't want to use it in this build. So I decided to put a dresser in there, yeah, the same dresser I used in the parents' room, but we don't have to talk about that. I also added a computer desk. I figured that was the only other thing that really fit to put in a kid's room, and Dad has his computer downstairs. Nobody else is allowed to touch it. There was another computer that was needed in the house, and that was the perfect area to put it. And so, yeah, that's basically why I sectioned that room off as a walk-in closet. I didn't want to keep it as a long, skinny room. I really don't like the way those looked, and I really like the way that extra wall with the arch added a little bit more detail in the room. I liked it better than having it just open, you know. I added plenty of skill building items along with like entertainment items in the kids' room, and what I did not add in the kids' room, I did add in the treehouse outside. So there is not the creativity table inside, but it is outside. And then there's not a TV for the kid inside, but it is outside. So I kind of tried to add everything in the different locations. While we are on the subject of the treehouse, I was imagining that the dad, he also really likes handiness, which is interesting. Writing and handiness, I feel like doesn't really go together for the most part, but that is what he likes. He really likes to write, but he really likes to woodwork on his woodworking bench in the shed as well. And so I imagine that he is actually the one that built the treehouse for his kids. Right now, only the child is using it, but when the other two reach childhood age, they will be able to use the treehouse too. Of course, the older one, you know, they want it to themselves. They're not going to like to share it, but they are at least able to enjoy it themselves for the time being until the other two age up to be a child. Then they'll have to share, and they won't be happy about it, but they'll be a teenager almost at that point, and they're not going to want anything to do with it anyways. But before I talk about the infant and toddler room, what little there is to say about it, I do want to take a moment to talk about these like benches that I have in front of the house, and I'll put more on the side too. How cute is it that they already have the beige pillows in the back? And I could have left it there and it would have been fine, but I had the idea of grabbing the base game ones and putting some orange ones and some green ones, and that made it just really tie together. Like, it really looks and screams fall, and I love that, and I think it's so cute. I'm so happy that I took the time to do that. And then in the back, I just add a couple of chess tables because we have so many chairs. I figured chess table would make more sense to have an actual skill building item, and I have an easel there. I also end up putting like some hanging plants on both corners, and that really ties it together too. Now, as far as the infant's room, super simple, really nothing special to talk about. Not my best, but I really wanted to keep the fall theme throughout the whole house, including the kids' room, and I kept that kind of like a neutral fall theme. So you can choose between a boy and girl, whatever you want your infant to be. I figured I'd leave it up to you guys. And then the toddler's room is pretty gender neutral too. I could totally see a boy or a girl in that room. And of course I kept the fall theme. I came across the rug from Seasons that is all like oddly shaped, and I normally never use it. I don't know, I kind of forget about it, but it's a hard one to use. The shape makes it a little difficult, but I placed it in that toddler's room, and I thought it was super cute, and I really love like that auburn color that I ended up going with, and definitely matched the fall theme perfectly. And then as far as like toys goes, I just added the basic toddler / infant toys, and I called it a day. I added what I could add and fit in here, and I figured, you know, it was more than enough. And anything that is extra, if you download this, you could totally add yourself. And that is officially the end of furnishing the inside. We are finally finishing up the outside, and I pulled out these rakes from Debug. I had in my mind I was going to download the tool mod and place them up against the inside or the outside of the shed, but you know what, guys, I was feeling lazy this day, if we're being totally honest, And I said, screw that. I can make it look cute just laying on the floor itself. I don't need the tool mod. I'm fine. And so I decided just to put it next to one of those leaf piles that I pulled from the debug menu also. And they should show up if you download this from the gallery. Sometimes debug items, they can be a little bit wonky where they don't show up when you download it off the gallery. And some of them I have been able to figure out which ones do that and which ones don't do that. But I'm not 100% sure on the leaf piles or the rake. The rake, I'm fairly confident will be there. The leaf pile, I'm not 100% sure. So I guess we'll see. If you see the rake there just randomly, just know that there should have been a leaf pile there, and maybe if you want it there, you could totally pull it from debug and place it there yourself, or just delete the rakes and, just ignore it. The leaf piles were important for me to put because it really brings the fall atmosphere. I really loved the way it looked and really made it feel a little bit more realistic. Because obviously the leaves are going to be falling, and I can just imagine the parents along with their oldest child out here raking up all the leaves and having all of these leaf piles around. Maybe they're planning on burning them, maybe they're planning on jumping in them. Can't Sims pee in them? I'm not 100% sure. I know they can pee in bushes, so, what would stop them from peeing in a pile of leaves, I would do the same thing if I was a Sim. And so I really, really just wanted to add some leaf piles. It was important for me, okay? But anyways, I did furnish the shed and I put a flower arranging bench. I figured Mom loves to grow seasonal flowers. She's all about the season, so why wouldn't she like to plant the seasonal flowers? And so I put a flower arranging bench, and on the other side I put Dad's woodworking bench, and I could totally see them in there working on their stuff together. And I also just tried to add whatever you would find in a shed. I put some tools on the wall, the only tools I could find really. And I also added a little table, a skinny long table in there, and I added a radio on top of it. I could see them listening to their favorite tunes while they're working on their crafts. And then I am working on the treehouse now, and something about the treehouse that I really wanted to point out is the fact that the table is slightly in the tree. And I did that purposely. I really wanted to make it look like the table was built into the tree, if that makes sense. At least in my mind it made sense. And it looks cute, and I really needed a little bit of more space, so I put it inside the tree, and it's fine. It works great. And I'm also adding some fall decorations in here to bring the fall atmosphere in the treehouse as well. And I don't know how safe it is per se if this was real life, but in The Sims it doesn't matter. Everything's safe in The Sims. It's fine. But I did add a counter with a mini fridge and a microwave, and I figured this is the perfect place for the child to invite their friends over and make some breakfast burritos on the microwave, chicken nuggets, whatever they want. And they never really have to leave unless they have to go to the bathroom, and then they can go downstairs and pee in a pile of leaves. And then come right back up. So I thought it was a super cute touch to add. And I don't know how realistic it is that this treehouse has power, but that is just how good Dad is working with his hands, okay? He's really talented. He can do a lot of different things, and one of those things is to power up a treehouse somehow. But he did it, and his kid is so happy with it, and I think it's super cute. And like I said earlier, it really matches the whole cabin vibe that the new expansion pack has. So yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm a little psychic. Maybe I can tell what's coming. No, I'm just joking. That literally was a coincidence, but it really did match the whole vibe the new expansion pack is bringing. So yeah. Something else I have not brought up is the fact that I added a third set of stairs on the wraparound porch. leading to the side of the build. I really love that because we have that extra sidewalk there, and it was the perfect opportunity to add something like that. And I've never actually added it with the privacy fence in front of it. The whole way I designed it, I really like it. It looks super cute, super detailed, and really like fall-like. I think I did a really good job keeping the fall theme going on throughout this house. Oh, and I also added some trash cans. Yeah, there's 3 of them. There's more than enough here in this build. It looked really good to have it with that bench on the other side. It's cohesive. It works together. It looks really nice. And so I ended up keeping it. All 3 trash cans. One last thing I end up adding at the very last moment is Patchy the Scarecrow. I'm pretty sure that is what his name is. I totally forgot that he existed. I'm pretty sure your Sims can like interact with him and he can come alive and he can help you garden or whatever. I do add him at the very last minute where that pumpkin was in front of the tree. I removed those pumpkins and I put Patchy instead. And that is it for today's build, guys. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. Once again, happy fall to all of you. If you did enjoy today's video, if you want to see more fall builds, more suburban builds, more family builds, more builds in general, leave a like on this video so I know you enjoyed it, and also subscribe if you have not already. I hope you all have an amazing day or night wherever you are, an amazing weekend, and I'll see you all in the next video on Monday. Enjoy the screenshots too, I did add those. Alright, bye guys.